Good afternoon. This is Jared Forte, and welcome to another session of Notes from the Route. Um, Before we even get started, I have it's, as we're recording this, it's July the 30th, 2014, and it's my oldest son's birthday. It's Trey's birthday as we're recording this. So first I want to say happy birthday to Trey. I talked to him earlier this morning, and he's excited about being in double digits now and about all the cool things that he's learning to do. He's learning to cook a little bit. He can make a lot of various dishes with hot dogs, so that's live. Um, Everything he makes has hot dogs in it, but at least he's moving forward and he's excited. I remember 10 is a real fun age, so happy birthday to Trey. So we'll start off with that. Uh, Notes from the Route is a show we do every Monday through Thursday. This week we've been covering the creative process or phases of the creative process. And by no means will this be a complete or comprehensive coverage of that topic, because it's a very broad and involved topic. But in this first pass through, we wanted to look at three phases of it. And today we're going to talk about promotion. Now, at first glance, it may seem that the idea of promotion is something that is separate from the creative process. It's something that you do after something is made. Traditionally, it's something that was done by someone other than the sort of creative force behind the thing that was made. You have your idea guy and your business guy. When you look at startups in Silicon Valley, a lot of times you have the technical co-founder and then the co-founder who does all the business development. Historically, you look in the creative arts and music, you've had the artist, and then you've had the management and all the other people who were involved in promoting and getting the music and the work out there. Traditionally, that work has been done by separate people. And it took the effort of two or more people, at least two or more functions, to achieve that end of making something and then bringing it into the world. But now, because of the way that we have direct access to the audience that we're trying to reach, we have the ability to connect directly with customers who would want to use our products and services. There are many cases where the financial incentive for the people in the middle has dissipated because their job has been taken over by someone else or some other technology, and they aren't able to prove their value as middlemen anymore. And along with the middlemen disappearing, so did all of the services that they provided to artists to help them get to the marketplace. Now it is responsibility of the artist, of the creative person, of the maker of things, to also make use of the channels that are available through technology to bring their products and services to the customers and to the audience that's waiting for it. So, because if it is your intention to share your work with the world, then promotion also has to be a part of the process. It's part of the cycle that feeds the creative process. Because if you make things and you don't ever bring it out into the world, then you lose your ability, or you lose the means by which you can continue to make and create things. So I want to make a very important distinction, though. I think that because we hear, if you are if you're online and you hear the conversation, even as a consumer, you can see how the gatekeepers, quote unquote, have disappeared. And we recognize that the tools that are used to make things have become cheaper, become more accessible, become more user-friendly. And we talked about this in the ideation phase, how the tools are available. And because the tools are available, there are more people that are creating things. But there is nothing wrong with making use of these tools to make things just for your own personal enrichment. There is something inherently rewarding about the process of creating things. There's It's personally enriching, and the thing that if you have ambitions on bringing your work to the world, there's a chance that this thing that you're doing, this activity that you're engaging with, that now you are thinking of perhaps making it something that can sustain you. There is a chance that before you even knew that it was a possibility to capitalize on it, or before you had any desire to capitalize on it, this was something that you probably did just for the fun of it. I heard a conversation yesterday with who was the man who was most likely the first pro gamer, and he moved from Hong Kong in the late '80s, and he started playing video games and computer games, and he was the best in the world, and companies were paying him. Companies were willing to pay him to come to their computer companies, would have him come and demonstrate their products and play against other people. Okay, sorry about that. Companies will have him come and sign autographs, and he was making six figures as a pro gamer. There was no such thing as a pro gamer. He's gone on to do other things before that. Now there are people who do monetize the playing of games. Many musicians started playing because they love to play, and they ended up making something of it. Some people are just into technology. They're enthusiastic about technology, and they like to code. They like to do things. And now there are opportunities to do those things for substantial compensation. There's opportunities to apply your skills in areas that you're passionate about and turn that into an income for yourself. But just because that opportunity is there doesn't mean that you're necessarily compelled to do it. It could be that this thing that you're passionate about should just remain something that you do for yourself. It could be that your passion for writing, or your passion for playing music, or your passion for side technical projects or building things. It could be that that's something that you should just continue to do as a spare time thing, or as a part-time thing, and while you devote your energy otherwise to make a living. That's a valid choice. And I think that sometimes when we can get caught up in the hype or the conversation about how big the opportunities are to, cash in on this thing that you're passionate about. Oh, the internet is here. You can reach out to people. You can make money from this thing that you're creating. It's true. It is there. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that this is what you should do. That you should. It could be that this passionate thing, this creative project, doesn't need to grow. So the reason that I mention that is because your intent is critical. You can't predict what will happen with what you make, but is it your intent to share it with the world? Is it in your intent to make something and make it for others to use to enrich their lives? If it's your intent for your work to reach other people, then the idea of promotion has to be a part of your creative process. Because what you make, whether it's a tangible thing, whether it's a piece of art, people don't buy the thing that you make to have a piece of plastic, or to possess an object, or to possess a series of bits. They buy the utility. They buy the emotion that the experience that they have by using it. That's what they buy. So everything you make, you can think of as a service. So if you're making something with the intent of serving someone, or with providing someone with an experience, then how you choose to bring that to people has to be a part of the creative process. You have to think about that customer, that listener, that user as you are making. You have to make it with them in mind. And how you plan to reach them also has to be a part of the way that you design the work itself. So promotion is a part of the creative process for that reason. Now you have to also make a decision once you decide, okay, I'm not just doing things, I'm not just creating something for my own personal enrichment. I do want people to experience the work that I'm doing. I do want to make an impact on a certain group of people. Then you have to make another decision. Do you want to be, it's a distinction that I've thought about, but it was articulated particularly well in a conversation between Jonathan Fields and Srini Rao. They talked about the distinction between being a maker and being a mogul. In both cases, things are being brought to the world. You're making something not for yourself, but for other people to use and to enjoy and to get a benefit from. But the difference between those two is in scale. If you want to be a maker, then you can take a craft-like approach and put the things together that you want to make and serve a small community of people, and you're good to go. You don't have big aspirations to do something, grand. But if it's your intention to be a mogul, then you have to be a little more sophisticated. Then you're going to be competing on a different playing field. The production values are going to have to be higher. The investment of time and energy are going to be much greater, and it's going to require the resources of a lot more people if it's your intent to be a quote-unquote mogul, not mobile. I'm not talking about my phone that was just ringing in the middle of the show. If you wanted to be a mogul. So it's important that you make that intention clear in the beginning as well. So your intention is very important. First, you have to decide, am I doing this just for myself? Am I making something for my own personal enrichment, and I don't have any plans or aspirations of sharing it with the world? Okay, yeah, I'll put it out there. If somebody finds it, so be it. I'm still just going to keep doing my day gig. I'm keep doing whatever. If that's your choice, that is a perfectly valid choice. But make it and know that's what you're doing. Or am I going to do something? Am I going to practice a craft and serve a small community with the work that I'm doing? Am I going to do something locally in my community, make something to share it with my neighbors and friends, or with a certain niche of people that I know online who would appreciate this work? Am I going to make a tool or resource that serves a very particular, maybe small group of people? That's a great choice as well. It's an enriching choice, and it can be a lucrative choice. The third option is, do I plan to be a mogul? Am I really going to do this big? So if that's your choice, then you know once you're making, as a part of your idea when you're creating something, you have to plan, or you have to design the thing that you're making so that it has the ability to scale to a mass audience. You have to consider all of the implications, all of the people who are going to have to be involved, and all of the compensation that they're going to require to make it happen. There is a lot of times there is a conflicting idea that floats around in the mind of creative people. I know I've had it. I know other people have had it. You have an image in your mind, and there's a long history of this happening in various forms of creativity, from movies. There, people who've come up with ideas in music, especially. You hear about it, where the creative person who came up with the idea, who started the whole process out, and ends up getting exploited or cheated by some slick manager who steals their publishing rights, or somehow takes an unfair share of the intellectual property, or whatever the case may be. And because of this bad experience, and it happens so many times, sometimes people who have aspirations of operating at the mogul level, who want to do something that's really big, are hesitant to connect with people who have access to these large channels because can't trust them. They want to take too much. So it's a very difficult decision. Do you want control or do you want scale? How big do you want the pie to be, and how small are you willing to let your piece be in order to make the pie bigger? It's a difficult choice because you don't know how it's going to turn out. You don't know ahead of time whether you will be better off maintaining control and serving your smaller audience, or scaling up and bringing in the resources of larger people, larger entities to help get the word out there. You don't know, at the end, you don't know which way you would be better off. So it's a difficult decision, but it's something that has to happen in the beginning in terms of the intent of what you make. If you want to have the option to take it to a broader audience, then that has to be present in the way that you design the work that you're doing. If you're looking for a mass exposure, you're not necessarily going to make a niche product. So if you're getting started and you've already made a decision that you're not making it for yourself, you do want to get into the world, there's a couple very direct things. The tactics are numerous, so we can't cover those, but there are some basic principles that always apply. If you want to serve a group of people with the work that you're doing, then be a part of the community that you hope to serve. Just be a part of that community. Know and understand the language, know and understand the problems that need to be solved, and be a resource within that community so that what you create can be of value to that group of people. Don't try to guess and assume and try to conjure up a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. So if you're going to bring a product to people, be a part of the community that you hope to serve. Also, another basic thing is to be prolific, meaning you can't just make one thing and hope that it hits. You have to keep making things and keep making your impact and keep making a mark over and over again, because what happens is, as you do it, you get better. As you do it, you get feedback, and eventually your work will have the opportunity to spread and be seen, and your footprint will be large enough that people will be able to find you and connect with you, and you've proven yourself to be worthy of their attention. So that's a big thing about promotion. I know that it wasn't a very tactical conversation, but it's important to know in the beginning the part of promotion that relates to creativity or to the creative process is the intent. What are you doing it for? And if you're trying to bring it to the world, I hope those ideas will help you. So tomorrow, the Thursday session is always sort of a recap of the week. I hope you come back and check me out for that. And we'll be looking ahead also to the sessions that are coming up next week, so you can get excited about checking those out. If you have comments, feedback, I hope to catch you in the comments. And you have a wonderful afternoon. Once again, happy birthday, Trey.